Judd Apatow is known for such hits as Knocked Up, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and This Is 40. His latest offering is The King of Staten Island, which stars SNL star Pete Davidson. In an Our Take, we're going to let you know whether this movie is your typical Apatow raunchy humor or if maybe it has something a little extra to offer.
The King of Staten Island is directed by Judd Apatow and it stars Pete Davidson, Bel Powley, Bill Burr, and Marissa Tomei. And of course, we all know Davidson as the SNL comedian, and here he plays Scott, a kind of misfit, loser, young male adult who still lives with his mom, has not really found his way in life. And of course, there's a couple of things here going on that's affecting him. One main thing being his father's death, and the other thing, of course, is the fact that he really doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. One dream that he has is to be a tattoo artist, and open up a tattoo parlor / restaurant, which is a really weird
it's
concept.
A weird concept. They keep revisiting that too in the movie.
Exactly.
When I was watching this movie, I immediately thought how Davidson was really embodying this torn, self-destructive person, and as it turns out, after I watched the movie, it is highly autobiographical because Davidson grew up in Staten Island. His father was a firefighter, like the character who died trying to rescue people.
His actual father died in 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11. His mother was a school nurse. He has a younger sister. Like the character, he has Crohn's disease, suffers from, addiction to marijuana. I mean, everything you see in this movie is almost exactly how his life was growing up. And I thought that was really neat. And you can tell when you watch the movie, Davidson did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I've got to say that overall I enjoyed this movie. I don't think it's Apatow's best, but it's definitely worth a watch. I think that my favorite is Knocked Up so far.
I'm a 40-year-old virgin guy.
What Apatow does very well is that he captures this slice of life. He makes it seem very natural, captures people's everyday problems, everyday qualms, and makes it feel very natural. Yeah,
that's exactly how I felt when I was watching the first act of this movie. It was like a day in the life of stoners who are trudging through this banal existence on Staten Island, and I thought it was a good idea, but for me, that first act dragged. I was like, man, this is kind of like over long. I was like, okay, I get it. I get what you're doing. But can we move on a little bit? I mean, I don't know how you felt about that.
No, yeah, definitely. I think that one of the problems with the film is that it's overlong and that some scenes just seem to drag more than others. I do like, though, how the movie takes you in directions that you don't necessarily expect, and it does a very good job of dealing with relationships, whether it's his relationship with his mom or with this new guy that has entered, his life trying to woo his mother, And
it's funny how the guy gets into their lives.
Dynamics of the relationships are all very interesting. The ones that I didn't really care for that much are his relationship with his friends, the ones that he hangs out with.
See, some of that stuff was like a little too drawn out.
It just wasn't necessary. Like some scenes were just kind of thrown in the movie where they didn't need to be there. But it definitely has like a Woody Allen-esque feel to it, the movie, that I really enjoyed. Tone-wise, it was inconsistent.
Really? See, that's interesting because I actually didn't mind the tone. I thought that the comedy was subtle enough, especially through Davidson's kind of like dry humor and his really solid acting of, like I said, embodying this character. So I didn't feel like it was too much humor that was in your face or it was out of place or badly timed. I thought it was a good balance of seriousness and comedy.
As far as he is concerned, he did a great job, so I agree with that. But there were just some scenes, I guess, in the plot overall, there were some scenes that were just kind of thrown in there that just seemed very misplaced,
Yeah, and maybe that's because a lot of it was very autobiographical to where, Davidson, who was one of the co-writers, probably felt like, this needs to be in there because it impacted me, and maybe that just doesn't really transfer on screen, perhaps.
Maybe. For me, though, I gotta say that the rest of the cast just kind of outshined Davidson. For me, I mean, I really liked Tomei in this movie. I liked Bill Burr, Powley even. I just think that everybody else, he did a good job, but everybody else was so good in the movie. I don't know. He seemed overshadowed just a tad bit.
I think it's because you probably see a little bit more of a dynamic character change in a lot of them versus versus Davidson, you don't really see that. You kind of get an idea of what's happening inside him, but it's more of a slow growth with him, whereas you see a lot more change in the other characters.
That's true. That's
really
true.
Quickly,
and I like the way that the movie explores the arc of the other characters fairly well, like the Marissa Tomei character, the mom. You really get to see her journey. You get to see Burr's journey, you know?
This movie to me was more drama. This is supposed to be a comedy drama, but to me it felt like more of a drama with some comedy sprinkled in. So is The King of Staten Island a slight departure from what you normally get from Apatow? I would say yes, because this movie has a little bit more heart. And some people might even be able to relate to it, especially people who have lost a loved one. I mean, in this movie, Davidson's character, Scott, lost his father at a young age. And because of that, it threw his whole life into a self-destructive tailspin. And so I appreciated that backstory, how he dealt with it. I appreciated all the acting. This movie, I would say, it's worth a watch, guys. However, I did feel, again, like it was long, and I didn't feel particularly moved by any of the performances per se, or even the plot as a whole. So for that, I will give this movie 3.5 reels. Should you pay $20 on Amazon Prime to rent it? Maybe wait till it goes down a little bit.
I do like that the movie has heart. I do like that it's a deviation from the standard raunchy comedy that we get from Apatow, although you do get some of that in this movie.
like the boxing for tips.
But what really won me over with this movie were the relationship. I really enjoyed the direction in which the relationships were taken. It was a breath of fresh air.
It was very organic, yes.
Yes, it was. So I am going to give this movie 4 reels, I think. I'm going to give it a notch higher. Yeah,
I figured you would.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it.
And I hope that you'll let us know what you think of this review down in the comments below. And as always, we do ask you guys to like The Real Screeners, share, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell.
Absolutely. And look us up on social media. We're on Facebook at Real Screeners and Instagram real.screeners. And as always, stay tuned for our next Real Take on movies. Although next week, we are bringing you our review of Umbrella Academy Season 2.
Yes.
The King of Staten Island is directed by Judd. And as it turns out, this movie is highly autobiographical.
That's and I hope that you'll let us know what you think down in the comments below. Let us know if this is another Avatar.
Airbender.
Okay.
M. Night Shyamalan.